In today's video, we have a special guest, this guy.
Reverse scoop for how many? Reverse scoop for 6! Where's Benjamin? Seriously?
That's so bad.
In today's video, we are going to be covering premeditated, unorthodox shots in a professional manner. That's why we have enlisted the aid of professional cricketer Chris Benjamin. He is a 22-year-old batter keeper that originally hailed here from South Africa, but has plied his trade overseas as well. He has played for teams such as the County Championship for Warwickshire, in the 100 for the Birmingham Phoenix, and in the T10 for Team Abu Dhabi.
Thank you.
There we go. You see. Benji, thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And thanks for taking us through how your thought processes work for all of this. So I think earlier we spoke about potentially looking at 3 of these unorthodox shots that you do premeditate. But what I'd like to know is why you chose the 3 shots that you did. And please take us through the 3 shots as well.
So first off, we'll be looking at the reverse sweep when playing spin. I just find it as a great boundary option, especially if there's only one guy behind point. And then secondly, it manipulates the field. So maybe they move mid-wicket there, gives you easy 1 or 2. Or maybe in a 50-over game, it means they have to bring up another fielder, so they have 2 back there for if you're a strong reverse sweeper. And then maybe it opens up hitting over mid-off or over square leg somewhere else for a good boundary option.
So when looking at the reverse sweep, so it is slightly premeditated, how would you go about choosing a ball? Do you look at the ball directly out of the hand, or is it predetermined even before that?
I would say, as he's sort of at the top of his mark, I'm thinking I'm reverse sweeping this ball. So field setting will have a large role in me deciding which shot I'm going to play, and then also the situation of the game. If I'm looking for a boundary, I need a boundary. It's one of my go-to shots. So yes, out the hand I'm watching it so that when I'm in the position here I can see what pace of the ball it is, because if it's a little bit quicker I've got to be faster hands so that I don't get LB or bowled, and if there's a little bit more flight I can delay it and then really hit it hard to beat the fielder.
Do you do anything different in your set? Do you maybe go across a bit more to make sure that you know where the line of your off stump is, or do you just trust yourself as the ball gets delivered that you know where everything is and just go through it with that?
I actually change it depending on what spinner it is. So if it's a right arm off spinner, I'll just take my normal stance, probably toe touching off stump, maybe just outside if it's a turning wicket. And then because I know he's turning it back into me, point of contact's almost always going to be outside the line. So then I'm happy I've got good access to the ball. If it's a left arm off spinner and I'm standing on probably 2 leg, sometimes I even stand a little bit more outside leg, so I've got a good bit of access to the ball, because I'm still happy to play it if it's outside leg. The only difficulty is I have to hit it very square. So if the gap's behind point, I like to stay a little bit more leg side to access behind point.
But to be fair with this, even if you don't hit your gap perfectly, it's still going to play on the bowler's mind, and you're still working towards them changing either where they're bowling or changing their field. So you're happy even if you hit it straight to the point fielder.
100%. And you know, spinners, they hate being swept, especially the reverse sweep, because it puts them off their length. Maybe you get a half tracker, a nice flighted one you can knock over his head. So yeah, just playing with his length I think is a big benefit of the reverse sweep.
And say now you've misread the line out of the hand or the length out of the hand, what is your get out of jail shot or scenario in this instance?
When I'm playing the reverse sweep, I'm 100% committed. Okay. So I'm actually very happy on any lengthy bowls and any pace. And one of the biggest things, if you go down a little bit earlier and the bowler sees it, it often means he bowls it quicker to sort of try get it under your bat for the LB. So I'm thinking let's get nice and low, and you never want to get beaten on the bottom edge, because even if you get a top edge, especially like a Rashid Khan or quick spinner, it actually ends up going over short third man anyway, so you're safe. So yeah, I'm actually very happy when the spinner goes full and very quick. It's almost harder when he bowls it real slow, because then I've actually got to generate all the pace.
Yeah. So it's a fully committed shot from the start.
Yeah, from the start, committed all the way.
Moving on to the second shot, we are probably looking more against seam bowlers here. Which would be the option you're looking at first? So
here, first off, I'm looking at the normal scoop.
Okay.
I just feel, especially when fine legs up, it's actually a really easy and good boundary option, whether it be the opening over T20, middle overs, or at the death. I just feel a guy bowling pace, especially if you think he's going to bowl pace on, it's a real good option for a boundary.
Okay, so again, so asking like with the previous one, do you try and decide out of the hand, or is it as the bowler's running in, you know that the gap's there, you're assuming he's going to probably go quite full, are you going from there, or are you trying to see a little bit out of the hand in the movement already?
So there's a couple of different things. Field setting again, so I'm trying to take in as much information as I can gather. Sometimes studying a bowler as well, pre-match is good to see what his go-to balls are under pressure. So if I know he's a good Yorker bowler, that can work in my advantage for the scoop. So I'm trying to take in as much information. Fine legs up, it's an easy shot. And then if he does go for sort of a change up, a slower ball, if I get there in this position, even if it's slow, I can then help it on its way.
Give it a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, asking about sort of I'm in trouble, yeah, it's not where I expected. The bowler goes a bit shorter, puts pace behind it, maybe goes a bit wider. Where are your other options then once you've already gone into this position?
So if he goes a bit shorter, it almost becomes like a help on pull shot, which is actually quite nice to play, and that one you can actually hit for 6 because you're helping it on its way. And then if he goes real wide, you sometimes can alternate,
even go the other way.
It's not the way I normally play the reverse scoop. Normally I like to swap my hands, but I am happy if he does sort of beat me and go real wide to help it and go that way.
So you've always got the option there.
Yeah.
I think looking at how you've moved here, it's quite important that your head gets low quite quickly to follow the bounce. It's basically like keep-ins, you know, so you keep it batter. You stay nice and low, watching the ball off the bounce and reacting to that, if there is a bounce.
Definitely, because most of the time you sort of premeditating it being a nice full ball with pace on, so you want to get real low and in line, and then sort of last minute move your head out the way. But I like to try stay for as long as possible in line so that my bat's making contact. At the end of that, all your bat has to do if it's pace on is be there, and it helps it on its way. And then if you're nice and low and the length's a little bit shorter, helps you just rise with it and sort of help it on its way.
And that gives you the freedom to move past you as well.
Exactly.
The third option, against seam again, I'd assume?
Yeah, correct. So that's the reverse scoop.
Okay.
Often bring it up or out after I've played the normal one. Once fine legs back, it often means then third man comes in, especially in the death overs. Lots of guys strong down the ground, mid wicket and deep square, so they often have those guys out, but very often third man's in.
Yeah.
So looking to sort of make the most of that gap, I go to the reverse scoop. I play it quite differently to a Josh Butler or Tom Bantam. They sort of just play a normal sort of reverse shot.
Very whippy.
Very whippy, very still, sort of real good wrist speed. Whereas I like to actually go left-handed. I just feel I can really get in line and watch it closer. And then the same things apply. I'm trying to get low as early as possible. And then if the lengths drag back a little bit, I'm happy to rise with it and sort of pull it almost over third man.
What line length would be ideal for this?
Ideally, a sort of a half volley on middle stump is the best ball to hit because I'm in line, I don't have to move. I can literally just put my bat there and the pace of the bowler does the rest.
Do you find it a little bit more challenging when the bowler goes wider, or if he really looks to attack your heels?
I think wider, because I'm trying to stay nice and straight, nice and still with the ball. When it's wide, I really have to move my head in line, and it's quite a hard position given that I'm batting left-handed now. But at the same time, it's very risky for the bowler because I just need to get any sort of bat on it. Even if it's an outside edge, you can roll along the floor and go for 4. So it's a risky option to go out wide, but I do find it a little bit harder than when it's straight, because I can sort of just swerve and help it out the way.
And it's missing the stumps probably takes the RB out as well.
Exactly.
With that, do you feel that when the bowler goes wider, you'd also have the potential to maybe get a bit more wrist action through it? Yeah,
definitely. I think when it is wider, you can then again help it a bit more on its way.
Because it's low risk, high reward then, because any extra bat on is probably beating the fielder anyway.
Exactly. And if you do miss it, there's no way of getting out.
Thank you, Benji. Really enjoyed this session. Thanks for joining us and showing us all these things. Is there anything you'd like to tell the viewers watching?
Well, first off, thank you very much for having me. Absolutely love doing this session with you guys. Just to the viewers watching, any one of you are more than capable of playing these shots. So get down, practice in the nets. Once you're confident with it, bring it out into a game. Make sure the match situation is correct and then back yourself. Get nicely into line, back the things you've been practicing on, and just enjoy it. They're good fun shots to try practice. I mean, I love this session. I always have good fun practicing these. And then in the game, when they come off, you can sometimes feel like a hero.
Scoop for how many? Reverse scoop for 6. Chris Benjamin. Seriously.
Chris Benjamin's social media information will be below. So if you want to follow the nicest guy in cricket, please do so. Hope you enjoyed this video. We just want to say a special thank you to these following members: Ray, Hammer, Stania, Lima, Johan, Liguriya.